Welcome back to Attack of the Show. We are live and talking sucky new video games. Before the break, we asked you what's the worst of the new next-gen games. Well, according to the Robo-Jocks at the G4 Laboratories, a resounding 67% of you think that Mobile Suit Gundam Crossfire is the game you should avoid. But right now, let's go on over to Kevin, who owns Red Steel, though he did buy it while intoxicated.
I know, but I was sober when I opened it over Thanksgiving. I blame my brother. I do. Now, the next-gen console launch was fast and furious, and now we're sort of left sorting through the rubble of games. Now, if you shelled out the cash for a new system, you surely don't want to be playing subpar software on it. So what's the worst game you should avoid at all costs? Well, the experts are here, the opinions are hot, and we're telling you which games are like kryptonite. Listen, Santa, I spend a lot of money. I don't deserve next-gen coal. Think about it. It's the Loop. Joining us tonight from San Francisco, EGM Magazine features editor Michael Donahoe is here, and from Atlanta, noted gaming author and managing director at Embassy Multimedia Consultants, Scott Steinberg. Gentlemen, welcome to the Loop. This is it's going to be a fun one here because we're pretty much all in agreement, and we can just really kick these games while they're down. But Michael, let's start with you because I think Sony, I think Japanese gamers, I think giant mech robots, nothing can go wrong here. Why are people so against Gundam?
Well, the thing is, like, the thing about Gundam is, it's like a big giant robots. You think, like, okay, this is going to be a fun game. Like, you know, you run around, you just kill a bunch of robots easily. But these robots, like, actually control, like, real robots. They're slow as hell. It's like, dude, why can't you just, like, why can't they move a little bit quicker? It's like the slowest moving PS3 game. And you're like, the PS3 is so powerful. How come these robots are so freaking slow?
Well, that's the thing, you know, Scott, do you feel like this game was designed for PlayStation 3, or does it feel like it could have been on any other platform and maybe they tried to gussy it up a bit, although that's even debatable. But what do you feel? Is this epidemic with all of the PlayStation 3 launch titles?
Well, I definitely feel like it was designed by monkeys and possibly ported over by space aliens. It's unbelievably bad. It absolutely looks like a budget PlayStation 2 title. The graphics are bad, the voiceovers are bad. The best thing about it is how melodramatic the music is. But the worst thing about it is it's actually waiting for me when I go back home.
Now why is it waiting for you? Did you just pick up a copy on accident, or do you have to review it?
I picked it up, and it's so bad it's infectious. You think you're sick, man. Wait till I play it.
Yeah, that's saying a lot if you need antibiotics to get away from Gundam. All right, but you know, people were saying PlayStation 3 is going to have Oblivion as a launch title, so this is going to be great. Well, that didn't happen, but they did have one exclusive RPG. Of course, we're talking about Untold Legends, Dark Kingdom, and Mike is shaking his head already. This was a game that we saw some screenshots of early, but Mike, it just didn't really turn out, did it?
Well, around the office, we like to call this game Unsold Legends because it's pretty bad. It's like one of those games where you're just like, man, this is the most generic-looking game you'll ever see. I played it for like about 5 minutes, and I'm like, I pretty much played everything I need to play. I don't need to play this game anymore.
So 5 minutes was enough for you to decide that this game's going to be all butt mashing. What if there's a great on-rails shooter sequence later on, Mike? You might be missing something.
Yeah, I mean, if there is, I mean, wow, that would be awesome. I mean, good for those people who spent like $60 on this game. Jesus.
Well, I mean,
if you bought this game, anybody, I feel sorry for you, seriously.
Now, Scott, $60 for a next-gen gaming experience. Some people were saying this doesn't even amount to a PlayStation portable game. Would you agree with that?
Well, you know, it's certainly sold as a PlayStation portable game, and it plays like one. I mean, I was going to say Michael got 5 minutes in. He's seen about all it has to offer. It's not necessarily an awful game per se. It's just not a very interesting one, and it could have been done on any other platform and not cost you $60 in a world of grief waiting in line to get a PlayStation 3.
Is there nothing redeeming about the game? I mean, I have to imagine that someone at Sony to certify this game and to get it out there, were they hurting just to get as many launch titles as possible, or is there a redeeming quality to this game?
Well,
it's all
online,
about hacking.
So.
Go ahead,
you
Michael.
can play with friends, and you can get fat loot.
But the thing is, like, it's online, but the thing is, like, finding someone to play online, I mean, that's like torture. Like, asking your friend, hey, let's play Untold Legends. Like, I'd be like, dude, you're mean, man. I don't.
All right, well, let's switch to a different console then, because we've beaten up on the PS3 a little bit here. Let's talk Nintendo Wii. I mean, everybody wants to be a ninja, right? So why not ask your friends, hey, you want to do a little sword fighting in the living room, the kind that mom's not going to care about when we're done? No need to clean the couch. I mean, Red Steel as a game on paper sounds good, but again, Mike, you're shaking your head here. I can't win. What's wrong with Red Steel?
Red Steel is so bad. It's one of those games where, like, the concept sounds great. Oh, yeah, you get to shoot people with guns. It's really fun. But the sword fighting it's so terrible to the point where you're like, I was flapping my wrist around, like, am I even doing anything? Is this working? I mean,
what if somebody received their Wii as like a post-Thanksgiving gift or something of that nature? They've got Red Steel sitting there. Should they bring it back to the store? What should they do with the game?
They should burn it. I mean, really, they actually send it to Ubisoft and be like, please do not make this game. Although I did read that they're going to make a sequel, which is probably the worst news I've heard today. I was like, no, a sequel? Are you kidding me?
See, I think that could work. I think they'd have to flush out the mechanics, obviously, but now they got the engine going. Maybe they'll know the Wii hardware a little bit better for Part 2. I mean, Scott, would you be excited for a Red Steel 2?
Oh, certainly, man. At this point, any titles to play on these systems would be great, even the bad ones. And the best part about them is, remember, they're aerodynamic. They will fly.
That's true, and they burn quite nicely, as Mike pointed out. Yeah. Scott, should we be concerned that, we did the poll, we said, what's the worst game? We were even talking about it around the office, and it seems like every single title that came to mind happened to be on the PlayStation 3 right now, with the exception of Red Steel. Should gamers be concerned, or is this just a launch lineup? Things are going to get better for Sony's console?
Well, I definitely think things are going to get better. I mean, this is just the first round. Once we get stuff like Full Auto 2 or you get MotorStorm out there, I mean, there's going to be better stuff coming down the pipe. But right now, you got a lot of ports that you can buy cheaper on other platforms that are just as good. And, of course, you got a lot of shovelware coming out, too. So definitely be concerned on PlayStation 3. Stick to the good stuff. Maybe join me for a game of Resistance. But otherwise, looking a little dodgy.
Yeah, I have a feeling that Gauntlet lobby is going to stay empty for a long time. Little Untold Legends is staying empty. Thank you guys for joining us. I want to thank Michael and Scott for keeping us in the loop. Now, some dud games are out there right now. That's to be expected when new systems launch. The real gauge of the next-gen consoles comes a year from now, maybe 2 years from now. In the meantime, though, do yourself a favor. Just grab an Xbox 360, Gears of War, and maybe some live arcade games. Microsoft, they've finally hit their one-year stride, and it shows. Let's go over to Olivia now, who continues to please fans across all platforms.
Thanks, Kev. Christmas is almost here, and I have gift ideas that will burn rubber. Today, we're bringing you the best new racing games. It is time to attack this. First up, ATV Off-Road Fury Pro for the PSP is the latest in the ATV Off-Road Fury series, and this time around, it's lots more than ATVs. You can race in dune buggies, bikes, rally cars, and even snowmobiles. Get sponsored by different companies and earn points to buy better vehicles and upgrades. This is a good one to pick up if you like racing games and own a PSP. Next, you can find Need for Speed Carbon on nearly every console out there, but none of them look or feel as good than the Xbox 360 version. Race in any of more than 40 cars, including a 1970 Chevy Chevelle and a 2004 Lotus Elise. You can even tear it up in something a little more realistic, like a 1985 Toyota Corolla. Next, pick up Tony Hawk's Downhill Jam for the Wii. It's not your typical racing game, and not just because of the Wii's unique analog controls. This Tony Hawk game is less about performing tricks and more about getting your punk ass to the bottom of the hill the fastest. And finally, Ridge Racer 7 for the PS3 has a lot more going for it than stunning graphics. Drifting is the name of the game here. There aren't any name brand cars, but they did a good job of inventing some pretty sweet machines. There's more than 40 cars to choose from, and you can customize them in nearly infinite ways. That's today's Attack This. Visit g4tv.com/AOTS for links to all these games. Still ahead, we'll tell you about the internet's first virtual millionaire in the feed, and I'll dive in your pants and answer your virgin sex questions. That's next on TV's only source for all the stuff you care about.